My name's Matt, I'm studying media at college and this is my documentary. When I was thinking about what I wanted to make, I knew I wanted to share a story I thought more people should know about. I've always been aware of food banks and some of the other food aid available, but I didn't realise the extent of the food insecurity in my local area.
Traditionally, New Haven's always had quite big pockets of poverty, but I would say that it wasn't hidden poverty, but it was private poverty. And then one morning, a child was brought to me because they'd been going through other children's school bags, and they just said, "But I'm looking for food." And at that point, that's such an emotive thing to have to listen to. It just brings you up it just pulls you up, and you think, we can't have this. And if this is one child, how many more are out there and they're not telling us? The family that had come in and hadn't come in and needed the school shoes, after I'd spoken to the mum and said, you know, why aren't you coming in? And she said, well, I haven't got any uniforms. Well, that's not a problem. We can do all of that. But then investigating further, it does become heat or eat. But she was really organised. So what I find commendable, but such as hugely concerning, is most of my families actually know to the penny how much they spend on fuel each day. So this mum was really clear, she said, so Monday night is a sandwich night, but we have the heating on. Tuesday night is a duvet night, so we sit in the flat with our duvets on, but we do have, beans on toast. We have a hot meal. And she had worked out, so I can't commend her any more than that. But it's desperate. It's utterly desperate. As COVID came in, as prices have come up, many of our families are on 0-hour contracts, and many of our families are in the hospitality trade, and they lost their jobs. So we have gone from having 25% of our children on free school meals to 40%. Once you get the free school meals, it's a kind of an opening door for other benefits. But I think for quite a long time, families, again, because they feel ashamed, there's no other word for it, they're embarrassed, they weren't applying for the free school meals. And so what makes the biggest difference to our children is quality first teaching, because the way out of poverty is through choices, and you only get choices if you've got an education.
And maybe how long you've lived in New Haven?
Do you know what? It's a really good question because I've forgotten how long I've lived here. I've spent, I think I've been in New Haven about 7 or 8 years now.
Okay.
Well, as you probably know, I live alone I'm a single dad, live with my 2 little girls, Ruby and Lola, soon to turn 9 and 10. It's been, I can't even put into words how incredibly hard it is. It is so hard, so challenging. Apart from your dad and Philip and my key worker sometimes, and a few other people, occasionally I don't get no help with them. And I was up till 2016. I'm a carpenter. I'm a good carpenter, right? Loved my job. I used to literally enjoy going to work. I used to get out the house, get to work, and every job I had was a challenge, and it was brilliant. But that all come to an abrupt end. Funny enough, I had surgery on my knee. I had keyhole surgery on my left knee, and they said you're gonna have to have they told me I'd have to have a week off work. But when they finally had the operation, they went, "Oh, you have to have 6 weeks off work." But I couldn't take 6 weeks off work because I couldn't afford it. So I went back to work. My knee gave out again, and I tripped and head-butted one of the boilers, and I had this big black eye. And they sent me home. They said, "Please don't take us the wrong way, but you're a liability," which I understood. And then from then on, I've not worked since then. And it all went wrong with the girl's mum, and and I've not worked since. And it's just, I'm 56 years old, and I've worked basically all my life, and then it's all gone. And then I've got these 2 little girls that I've got to look after, and it's both of them. I use the supermarket one more. I just find it incredible. And all these people do all this stuff the goodness of their heart, which is just, you know, sometimes you go down there and you, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes there's hardly anything there, you know. And when I first started going to that one, I've been going to that one about 6 or 7 months. But when I first started going, I used to get there at 11 and there'd be a few people there going, and you get 2 bags of food, like good food as well, you know what I mean? And at first I used to hate it because I used to feel embarrassed.
Yeah.
A bit of pride. I'm a working man, you know what I mean? I'm like, I've worked all my life and then put in this situation. But after a while, you just get used to it. And they make you feel so comfortable, you know, they go, listen, if you don't take this food, it's going to be thrown away. So, and then that changes your whole concept. I mean, their whole concept is, hold on, this is not just about helping us, it's about not wasting the food as well. So, but what I've noticed is, because things have got so much worse in the country, in the world, with COVID and whatever else is going on, the queues are huge now. So you get down there. If you get down there at 11, you'll be waiting literally an hour in the queue, which is, you can't. I'm not moaning about it. I'm just saying it's just, and there's hardly, you don't get nowhere near as much as you used to get. So it just goes to show that things have worsened and more people are desperate, you know, and they are literally desperate to survive. Yeah. So I think for some people, I mean, I'll get help of a few other people, but for some people, if it wasn't for the food banks, I think they would literally starve, which is, it's an awful thing to think of, isn't it? But
Could you just give me a rough outline of all the little sort of projects that the SCDA do here?
Sure. So I'm the Food Security Project Manager at SCDA, and we deliver a number of community food projects. So the main 2 are 2 community supermarkets, and then alongside that we also deliver food parcels. And then we also have a community kitchen here at Denton Island, and they produce all sorts of food for those community supermarkets primarily. So they do a lot of meals that they freeze, portion up and freeze for people to take home, but also salad boxes, soup, baked goods, all sorts of things to kind of make it a really nice offer for people when they come in. It's not just about getting enough food to people, but making sure that people have access to really good quality, healthy food, and the social side of that as well. You know, that you're able to, that the importance of being able to sit around a table and share food with other people, I don't think should be underestimated. So we try and set the community supermarkets up as much like a little shop as possible, and then people come in and they're able to choose the food that's right for them and their family, instead of getting, you know, given tins of stuff that they might not know how to cook with. So the choice is really important. And we went, like I say, we were doing about 30 households a week. Quite quickly in the first lockdown, that rose to about 100 households across Newhaven and Peacehaven. So there was like a 3-fold rise. A lot of people reporting that they were accessing food support for the first time. And I think the pandemic has flagged to a lot of us that everybody is much closer to that position than we like to think. And I think there's a huge amount of shame and anxiety that goes along with that, where people feel, you know, they find it really difficult to reach out for that support or to say that they maybe need some help, which is why a lot of the work that we do is about sort of trying to remove that stigma, make it really welcoming.
We used to have about a dozen people who used to come each week for food, and then the pandemic hit and we ended up with we went to about 60 to 80 households a week, and then our list at the moment is about 120 households a week. It's about 250 people, which is a huge increase to what it used to be. And, we've got some wonderful, wonderful volunteers, especially this lady here. Mandy and her family do the bulk of the practical work, bagging things up and making sure that the bags are ready each week and making sure that the shelves are stocked. We expect that the need will increase as the energy prices go up. I think it's important to add that we don't ask anyone to qualify why they need it, because we find that can be really off-putting for people, and there's a real barrier for people accessing a food bank in the first place. So if we can remove one more barrier, people do ask us if we get taken advantage of, and people use us who perhaps don't need to. And our answer to that is always that we don't think anyone does actually, but if they did, we'd sooner have 1 or 2 people taking advantage of us and nobody going through the cracks than people feeling like they can't come to us.
I think, people don't earn enough, or they can't find jobs that have enough hours that give them the wages they need to provide food for families that they have. So they just don't have that money to provide, and some of them are having to choose between feeding the family and paying bills.
The universal credit, there's a 5 or 6 week wait from when people apply to when they first get it, and that's too long. People can't wait that long. Landlords don't wait that long. So if landlords aren't waiting that long, then the claimant shouldn't have to either.
I think, there needs to be a better understanding from people at the top, perhaps, of what it's like to live like that and not know when you're getting your next lot of food.